Brian Kelleher here on the program today. UFC on Fox 25 coming up in New York. He's actually at home, which is refreshing to see. A lot of the guys in New York have to travel in to the hotel room and have to stay put. For Brian, he actually gets to stay home, which is nice. Like a Las Vegas guy, a Las Vegas based guy when they fight in Vegas, they get to stay at home too. You're about 30 minutes away from the arena. Is that right? Do you have to do much? We have to be actually towards the arena, like for the media day and for obviously the weigh-ins and that you have to, but otherwise, is there much back and forth that you have to do?
Yeah, not really much back and forth. I had to check in Wednesday and just, sign some posters, the regular stuff, check in, get my Reebok stuff, and then that was it. I didn't have any obligations after that, so it's pretty smooth.
Yeah, it's actually relatively easy. I actually feel bad for the main event guys because they have more media, they have more things they have to do. But you early fight past prelim guys, you guys get almost as many views as people watching you fight as they do on the pay per view because there's so many people now on prelim, and of course the Fox card they get even more, because the channel's more readily available.
100%. They got the open workouts, they got more media stuff, obligations, but they got more of this too. So.
That was my next thing too. So, but you're eligible for a Friday night. I mean, you're eligible for the fight bonuses. So it's not like they get all the money. I mean, you could catch up a little bit, but get an extra 50 grand. Does that when you see your opponents, obviously with Marlon Vera, do you see your opponents and go, I can make this a bonus fight if he agrees to make it a bonus fight? Like one guy can't go out there and fight, and that fight's going to become a bonus fight. It doesn't work that way. Both guys have to be ready to go to make it exciting enough for the higher ups to go, okay, we got to give these guys a bonus.
Yeah, it's almost like, you really never know. You look at the style of the guy and you see, okay, this is a tough guy. He's hard to put away. But I'm always going for the finish. So if I'm going to get a bonus, I think it's going to be a performance in the night or, a knockout or submission of the night, whatever that is. But, you don't want fight of the night because that means then you couldn't put this guy away. But who knows? You never know till you get in there, to see where you really stack up against somebody. I believe I'm going to finish this guy, but we'll see what happens when we get in there.
It's a crapshoot. You have a best laid game plan, but still, when some stuff goes off, what you have to figure out the chaos while you're in there, and it's tough sometimes to put that together. Also, too, I was looking at the height of you guys. He's like 4 inches taller, or no, he's just a couple inches taller, but he has like a 4 inch reach on you, arm length, and then a couple inch reach on legs. Was it hard to find guys that could mimic that length and reach in your camp?
No, not at all. Actually, my younger brother fights professional too, and he's a southpaw, and he's like 5'10", 5'11". So it was perfect. He's got long legs, long reach. So I've been around that my whole entire career. So that doesn't phase me. And my debut fight against Yuri was the same exact scenario. A taller guy, longer guy, but I'm pretty much used to it. So I don't worry about that.
Uh, what weight did your brother fight at? Your younger brother fight at?
My younger brother fights at 145.
Okay, so he's bigger. He's younger and bigger.
Yeah, he's younger, bigger, taller. He walks around like 170. So.
Oh, so he really is a good training partner for you, especially for this fight. He actually can mimic, and he's a little bit heavier, which also makes you deal with extra. Okay, so it worked out perfectly then. Did you have to bring anybody else in for training camp?
Not necessarily, not anyone specific, but I've been cross training with those Long Island MMA guys. Ryan LaFleur's gym. We got Bermudez, Wade over there, Gregor Gillespie, a lot of high level guys there too. So I'm just bouncing around. I got my main gym, Max and BJJ, which is like really high level jiu-jitsu guys. We got a couple tough fighters, but I'm getting the best training I can moving around Long Island.
How far do you have to travel every day to get good workouts in?
Not too bad. I mean, to get to Long Island MMA, it's like a good 30 minutes, not even like 25, 30 minutes. And that's like twice a week, but my main gym's only like 10, 15 minutes away. So it's not bad.
A lot of guys in California to get the right looks, the right feel, they have to drive around as well. It might be Orange County, it might be LA, and sometimes the drives are an hour and a half just because of traffic. And when we think of New York and think of Long Island, we think of, hey, this is bad traffic. But you're saying it's only half an hour. It's not that far.
No, it's not bad. And the times that I go to, it's like weekdays and it's morning time, like a little bit later past traffic time. So it's all smooth every time.
So what do you do for rest and recovery? A lot of people have different ways of rest and recovery. Obviously, Demetrius Johnson likes to go home, and if he's not watching his kids, he's playing video games. That's how he rests and recover. Everyone's got their own little game, their own little process. What's your process for rest and recovery between practices?
Yeah, as far as recovery, I've been adding to the recovery. I've been taking it more serious because I'm 30 now, so it's definitely it's really important. Some people don't really take that serious and they just grind, grind, grind. But I've been doing a lot of cryotherapy. I've been doing float tanks like sensory deprivation. I do some yoga here and there, but I stretch a lot and I do saunas and stuff like that. But on my downtime, I watch a lot of podcasts. I don't really play video games or watch much TV, but that's my thing, podcasts.
What's your favorite podcast right now?
I love watching JRE, Joe Rogan, of course, and I like Joey Diaz. I like Cutter and the Kid. Those are like my main three.
Yeah, they're actually those are the same ones that I watch. Like I'm hooked on those. I'm hooked on them quite a bit actually. They become part of the repertoire, and even when you're on the road, they're great because if you're traveling on a plane and you're traveling to wherever, you've got enough time to sit down and actually listen to a full one without having to make a break in the middle of it. So,
Oh yeah, Joe Rogan saved me like 4 hours on my way to Brazil. It was great.
dude, his sometimes I have to I get really far behind because his podcast is so long. I've got to keep breaking and going back to it later because I got other stuff I got to do. So it's
Oh yeah, I'm constantly pausing, going back.
yeah, yeah, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it. All right, let's talk about Marlon. How was it coming up with a game plan? First of all, like, was it easy to come up with a game plan for you guys, or was there a little bit of he's got some nuances you guys had to watch out for and had to do a little extra time thinking about it?
No, I tend to not overthink things when I go into these fights. I just I believe in my skills and imposing my will on these guys. And I know his tendencies. I know he's a high level kicker, karate type style, stand up. His boxing's not too strong, but he's got a good kick game. And it just tells me that I got to try to get inside quick. Don't stay on the outside of his range. And I've seen him taken down a bunch of times, especially by Pickett in his last fight and against the cage, which is one of my strengths. I could take guys down against the cage pretty well and control guys, land some ground and pound. I can see myself finishing the fight that way. But he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so I got to watch out for that. But I don't see a guy when he's on his back so active. I think Yuri was more of a threat there when I fought him. But this guy's got high kick, good kicks and good striking, but nothing crazy that I've never seen. So I just know I got to get in close, try to grind him out and break him with takedowns and ground and pound, and see what happens from there.
Are you a fight fan? Do you go at home when you're not in training camp? Do you sit around and watch fights as well and all the parties and
That's all I watch. Like I don't watch anything else but fights. Like I love to break down fights. I got the Boom Breakdown that I do on YouTube. I'm not doing every single card, but I try to do as many as I can. But I see that as something in the future, breaking down fights, something like that, with like an analyst.
Brian Butler, your manager, actually turned me on to looking at him. So I checked out a couple of them last night. You're actually really good. I would love to say that you suck and you need to have to make a lot of improvement because it's another job that you're taking away from us. Every time there's somebody new that comes in that's good, it's like, well, there's one less guy that we have space for now. So, but you're good. You're actually really good to fight breakdown. This is for the folks at home. You get a chance, get on YouTube and check it out. Like he does have some pretty good insight into it, but it's a young insight where mine is a little bit more seasoned and like some of the older guys are a little bit more seasoned. He comes from a younger aspect of how he puts his stuff together, and it's actually refreshing to listen to. I picked up a couple things when I was like, oh, okay, that's a different way of looking at that same position. I would have said the same thing. I had the same breakdown about a particular fight, but you had it, but we both were right at the end of it. We both picked how the fight was going to go, but you just had a different way of getting there. It's kind of refreshing to see that space. You're really good at it. You really are.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I definitely want to take that more serious as I get, towards the end of my career. I
Yeah.
want to have something to fall back on for the future.
That's smart. A lot of guys don't have a backup plan. They have no idea what's going to happen. But they also, too, if you watch them fight, they don't really have backup plans during the fight. They don't have a part two. If part one doesn't work, they fall apart. You have a part two set up for this fight. If your initial game plan doesn't work, your secondary game plan will come into effect, and you'll switch back and forth between it. How hard was it to really implement that, especially against your brother who knows you so well, to get that, hey, part one's not working today because of whatever reason in practice, let me go to part two. But he already knows what part two is. So how hard is it to make sure that you still maintain and understand, hey, my part two is good. It does work. It just doesn't work against my little brother.
Yeah, yeah, he knows everything I do. So sometimes that does happen. Like you said, like he kind of knows exactly where I'm going to go from a certain position to another position, what I'm really good at, what I lack at. But like we just work everything we can. I mean, I'll drill over and over, have him take me down, have me getting up, getting up, getting up, and I'll also drill him putting me in submissions, getting out, staying active on top, ground and pound. But like when we spar, it's whatever. But like as I get closer to the fight, we get into more specifics, like what exactly Marlon does. just do that. Just do all of that to me. He's a southpaw, so it was easy. It's a lot of the stuff he already. But it's basic stuff, but it's just stuff that Marlon's really doing frequently in these fights, like throwing a jab leg kick when he switches stance. He likes to switch. I noticed that, but when he switches to conventional, he seems to be a little stiffer, not as fluid, But when he's southpaw, he seems more like himself. He'll throw a lot more fluid combinations. He looks for a lot of head kicks on both sides. So I just had him doing all that stuff and just countering from those things, but also knowing how to pressure and not even let him get those things off, both of those. But I have plan A, plan B, plan C even, I have a lot of different things I can see myself finishing the fight.
How much longer do you think it's going to be before you get pushed up to at least to the Fox card and get off the prelims?
I think pretty soon, man. I'm one of those guys that I have personality. When I get the microphone, I'm not gonna be just hey, thanks UFC and see you later. Like I know the business now. You got to take full advantage of that opportunity. When you get the microphone, like that's your chance to promote the next fight. So I have a plan for that as well. Never want to look past my opponent, but I know exactly where I'm gonna go from here already.
Brian, thanks so much for coming on here. I know that you got fight on your mind. You really don't want to be doing more interviews, but I appreciate it. I really do.
No, it was my pleasure, man.
Good luck, man. Have a great time this weekend. Have fun. Enjoy it. This is one of the exciting fights that I'm getting ready. I'm super excited to watch how it pans out. So I want to see which way which Brian comes out of this at the end of it.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care.